Hi folks, this is PC USB Projects. Do you know that this tiny development board can turn your computer into a weather station? I used to carry around my digital weather station that I built 10 years ago. It's great, but it occupies a lot of room in my luggage. I could have replaced it with a simple sensor on my Raspberry Pi, but there has never been enough time to build an application. But the rise of AI changed all of this. Large language models can now easily create useful programming code. That's why I've decided to build a Pi-based digital weather station. You can instruct AI to build any application of your desire. I've built a sensor and I've put Google AI to the test. I've decided to test my new sensor on single board computers of two different vendors, on Raspberry Pi 500 and OrangePi 03W. I've also tested Google AI on building Python applications as well as more compact C++ applications with graphical user interfaces. Running an application in a window is much more user-friendly than running it from a common window. This video is divided in two parts. In the first part, we're gonna design a durable, light and compact weather sensor for any Pi with Raspberry Pi compatible expansion board. The second part will be devoted to designing and testing applications made by Google AI. But let me tell you that it is very important how you describe to Google AI what you actually want, because it's gonna try to find the quickest and the easiest way to fulfill your request. For example, it's not going to compensate the temperature with factory values that are inbuilt into the sensor, and it's also not going to normalize the air pressure values to the sea level, which is common with meteorological agencies, except if you specify all of this in your query. Okay, let's start with the sensor. A sensor can be anything compatible with 40-pin expansion board. However, it is much easier to have a sensor with fewer pins to solder. But usually these chips are very small and would be almost impossible to hand solder. That's why there are many development boards on Amazon and other microelectronics selling platforms. They cost from 5 to 20 euros. Not going into too much details, let me tell you that I've chosen a very small board with 4 contacts to solder with BMP 280 sensor, which only measures temperature and air pressure. Let me show you around the boards. This is a weather measuring board. It can measure 3 parameters: barometric air pressure, temperature and humidity. This is the board that would be a board of my choice. However, I've bought my board years ago, and at the time BME 280 board was much more expensive, so I opted for a cheaper BMP 280. But it is actually programmatically compatible with BME 280, which means that I'm gonna read humidity of 0 all the time. But with BME 280 you would be able to actually measure humidity as well. What about the communication protocols? BMP and BME 280 chips also support SPI protocol. However, this development board only enables I2C protocol, but the communication protocols are both supported in single board computers hardware, so there is actually no need to use more pins to support SPI protocol. Reading weather data does not require very high transfer rates. Here is another board with a prototyping cable where each pin can be separately connected to any pin of the 40-pin expansion board. This would enable you to connect the sensor without soldering, but this solution is inconvenient for a frequent use. Let's go to the most capable sensor that is also able to detect certain kind of gases and measure air quality. This board enables you to use I2C as well as SPI protocol. It is more convenient to use I2C protocol, which requires only 4 connections, 2 for powering and 2 for data. This is how you connect a weather development board with I2C protocol to Raspberry Pi or any other single board computer with Raspberry Pi compatible 40-pin expansion board. But I would like to remind you about one thing that is very important, and this is which kind of voltage you provide as a power supply. A development board may support 5 volts power supply, but in this case the data pins would also function in a range between 0 and 5 volts, which is gonna destroy your single board computer, because you should not forget that this is not an Arduino board, which actually needs 5 volt data signals. What you can see here is the first sensor that I've built, but it has a flaw because it's too close to the computer. It gets heated by the computer's cooling grip. We can see OrangePi 03W with the cooling grips installed, and it is obvious that the temperature measurement in this way cannot be accurate. That's why I've developed another sensor where the connector that goes to 40-pin expansion port or even to 26-pin expansion port on some single board computers like the original Raspberry Pi is separated from the sensor with 4-wire cable. I've used a telephone cable which is very strong and durable. I've also used two tiny pieces of PCB to route the cable through, so the cable is held by the inner insulation. This prevents tearing off. I've also used a yellow shell inside of a Kinder Surprise egg. I've drilled a few holes in it for better ventilation, so the sensor must be exposed to the air to make accurate measurements, but the shell also very well protects the sensor. Let's now make an application with the help of Google AI to display the data in an application window inside of a modern Debian Linux operating system. Before creating a weather monitoring application, we have to see whether our weather sensor is connected to I2C bus on 40-pin expansion port. We're gonna first test whether our I2C bus is enabled. So we go sudo resp config, and we're gonna check whether I2C bus is enabled. Go to interface options and then to I2C, and we see that the bus is already enabled. And then we say OK, and we go here and finish. So the next command we're going to run is I2C detect with L parameter. Detect with -L. So all the buses get listed. Usually it is the first bus. In our case, it is I2C bus 1. On some computers there is I2C bus 0. So we go for I2C bus 1, and we're going to list all devices on this bus. So we say Y and 1. So Y is just because we don't want to get prompted. So as we can see, there is number 76, which is exactly the ID of our weather sensor. If you have two weather sensors, there is also an option for this weather sensor to be reconfigured to use ID of 77. Now let's make an application. First, I'm going to show you what I've got from Google AI. I've written quite a long text to describe what application should be. So I'm going to copy the text to Google AI, and I'm going to see what it comes up with. So I'm opening AI mode, so pasting the text, and here we go. So we've got the application. On the right hand side you can see my finished and running application that can show a historical graph of temperature, air pressure, humidity. So I've just started measuring, so the graphs are obviously not very interesting because the temperature is more or less constant and the air pressure is not changing so much. And as you can see, this is my home city, and it's 1019 hectopascals, and here's the same. So it does work very well. Though this result looks surprising, it is not all beers and skittles. The initial answer from Google AI was using a library that was not available in Raspberry Pi Trixie. So I've reminded it that Ray library was not available for Raspberry Pi OS Trixie, and I've specifically requested it to use another library. Google AI did exactly that. So I got a working solution, but it was still not working good enough because the pressure value was way off. It was showing 8.5 hectopascals, which is off the scale. One would expect around 1000 hectopascals, which is about 1 bar. So I told this to Google AI, and it got me another solution that worked perfectly because the air pressure was really about 1 bar, but it turned out that the altitude where I'm staying was wrong because it assumed that I was living at 100 meters. Then I corrected this value in the program and I got the air pressure working just right, which I've verified with our meteorological agency. However, this was my mistake, not Google's, because I haven't told it that I was living at 300 meters, though I've done this in my previous requests for similar versions of applications. And it is really interesting how precise you have to be when you are specifying what kind of applications you would like to get. Let's now discuss another very important thing when you are copying the code generated by Google AI. If the code is very long, the text area where the code is generated in is too short. So the code would split over and would be added as a tail, and you can grab the rest of the code not by clicking a copy button inside the web page where the code is generated, but you have to grab it with copy and paste function. However, don't paste it directly to Granny programming editor because it's gonna pile up in just one line and it's very difficult to untangle. Instead, copy it to LibreOffice Writer and then from LibreOffice Writer copy it to Granny, and at least programming lines would be okay, though indent would still be a mess, but with C++ programming code this is no problem. However, with Python code it would be. I've also decided to make an application for OrangePi 03W. The main difference is that when you are checking whether I2C port is opened, you've got to call OrangePi config application instead of Raspberry config. Then there is the same function which is called I2C detect, and it is used with the same parameters to check on the sensor. As with Raspberry Pi, building a Python application requires to install additional libraries, but this can only be installed in a virtual environment. To create a virtual environment from your current directory, type python3 -mvenv, the name of your virtual environment, and enter. You can now enter the virtual environment by calling command source, the name of your virtual environment, /bin/activate, and enter. Now you can use command pip install to add additional libraries. Now you can copy the programming code to a file with py ending and run it. If you've liked this video, please press like and subscribe buttons and don't forget about the notification bell. If you'd like to help this channel growth, hype this video as well. See you in the next video. Bye.